Welcome to the course orientation for Read 536, Literacy Curriculum Design, Implementation, and Evaluation. This is Dr. Keisler, and I will be your instructor for Read 536 this semester. This orientation will review some of the course requirements and the major assignments for this semester, all of which can be found in your syllabus. The official description for this course is a focus on curriculum foundations, research, current issues, design, and practice in the area of reading and language arts. What we'll do this semester is we'll take a look at some of the things that influence reading curriculum. So we'll take a look at some of the historical and theoretical foundations of reading curriculum. We will take a look at the influence of research and action in terms of best practices. And then we'll take a look at things like the Common Core state standards, which obviously impact and influence reading curriculum. And we'll look at policy and politics involved in reading and reading education. So anyone that's been teaching for the past 15 to 20 years knows that reading and mathematics are usually the two subject areas that most of the policy from the federal government and the state government are made around. And so obviously the politics involved in making those policies and then the policies themselves have a profound influence on how and what we teach in reading. So that's always an interesting part of the semester as we explore that, because it's not something that we always think of as having an influence on how our curriculum is developed and implemented. So my objectives for your learning this semester are that by the end of the semester you'll be able to demonstrate knowledge of the historical theory, major themes and criteria for curriculum development, and an investigation of the origins of curriculum change and reform efforts. So kind of how did we get there and why do we do what we do? To be able to apply the key principles and the components of reading curriculum design, implementation, and evaluation related to curriculum theory. And keep in mind that every time we talk about curriculum design or curriculum theory, we're talking about it as it specifically relates to reading and reading instruction. You should be able by the end to synthesize curriculum theory supporting the major premises about learning and apply to a component of reading based on empirical research and academic standards. Kind of the crux of this class is to be able to evaluate school curriculum to make informed decisions and critical assessment of curriculum issues at the local, district, state, and national levels. We will do this primarily through our major assignment or our key assignment this semester, which is the curriculum investigation with triangulated analysis, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. But this is really going to be the assignment where you learn to evaluate curriculum and you learn to approach curriculum in the way that a reading specialist should and will approach it in their position. And then of course, as in most of our courses, our objective is for you to practice using the professional skills of analytic and integrative thinking, discussion, and writing, reflecting on current research and professional practice, and of course paying attention to those IRA standards for the reading profession, the CTC, Common Core. We don't really use the California Language Arts Framework too much, but we still do talk about it in this course and others. So of course, we will mention it again. Your required text for this class this semester, we're going to use this Lenses on Reading Text by Tracy and Morrow. It's a great text. I think that you're going to enjoy it. It's a really easy read and gives lots of really interesting information. We will use this primarily in the beginning of this semester because it really helps us go over all the models of reading and theories that you need to know for this course. Then what we've done, or what I've done, is I've adopted two different texts. So I know that you need, those of you who are on the community college track, use this text in another course. I don't exactly remember which one it is, but I know that you use it. So I adopted it for 536 as well, and that's the Handbook of College Reading and Study Strategy Research. And then those of you who are K-12, I adopted the best practices in literacy instruction. So as we go further into the semester, you're going to see that you get to choose your assignment and the focus of your assignment based on your own professional interests, and so it made sense to have a book that specifically addressed topics and issues related to reading at the community college level, and then one that was a little bit more general and talked about best practices in terms of K-12 instruction. So that being said, if you are on the community college track and are still interested in this book, it's still a good read and a good buy, although you won't be required to use it. But people have found it useful. In the opposite way, if you're K-12, I don't necessarily recommend you purchasing the community college book, because it really is tailored to adult learners. And so the information here is not as general or applicable to the K-12 setting. But either way, everybody needs lenses on reading, and then you can decide which of these two is most appropriate for you, or you can buy both. All right, so let's talk about course requirements. So class participation activities are a big part of your grade, as they are in every class that I teach, and in particular in the online classes. Each week you're going to participate in some sort of class discussion. Most often that will be in the form of a discussion forum. So we call those our CPAs, and you'll see on the syllabus that you'll have, I believe, 14 of them this semester. Most of the time they're a prompt, and you're asked to respond to that prompt. Some weeks you will be asked to respond to the prompt and respond to two classmates as well. And then some weeks it will just be more of an activity or giving feedback to a classmate on an assignment that we've already done. Either way, you can take a look on Titanium, and you can find a detailed description of the grading rubric for the class participation activities, and you can also find some sample posts and responses on Titanium. There's a few of you that have had me for classes in the past, so you know that this is a big part of your grade in my class, and that I do read all of your forum posts. So I hope that you do go over the guidelines that I've posted and take those seriously. We're going to run our class this semester from Tuesday to Monday. So generally what that means is sometime Monday afternoon or Monday evening, I post the materials for the week, and then that week starts on a Tuesday, and you need to have everything completed for the week by the following Monday at midnight. So each week, it's still important that you go ahead and you read the checklist carefully, because let's say that it's a week where I would like you to respond to a classmate's forum post. I usually am going to ask that you put your original post up by Saturday, so that gives your classmates Sunday and Monday to respond to you, and same for you, gives you Sunday and Monday to respond to a classmate. So I realize that not all of your classes may run on the Tuesday to Monday schedule, but having taught the online classes now for about 3 years, or 4 years, I guess, I've found that students appreciate having the whole weekend to get their stuff done. And then if you don't get it done on the weekend because maybe you have a life and maybe you have other things that need to get done, you still have some time on Monday to get it in. So when I changed my online classes to that Tuesday to Monday schedule, I found that I had a lot less or much fewer students asking for extensions or not being able to meet the deadlines, because we know our weekends do get busy. So so you can go ahead and you can take a look at those guidelines and the examples that I posted to get an idea of what the expectations are for posting on the discussion forum. In this class, you're also going to have a 2/3 exam. So rather than a midterm, this falls about 2/3 of the way through, which I think if you took 508 is about the same type of exam. So this 2/3 exam will be a combination of multiple choice questions, short answers, and an essay, and the topics will be obviously related to the curriculum theory that we had covered so far in the readings and discussions up to that point. So you will get a review guide prior to that exam. You will obviously be taking the exam online. Generally, I time the exam and give you what would be considered one class period, 3 hours to do it. You can get into the exam one time during that week, and you can pick the day that you would like to take it. So let's say that you need to just, have the exam done by, November 10th or whatever the date is listed on the syllabus. I don't have it right in front of me right now. You would just go ahead and pick the day that you want to do it, get into the exam, take the exam, you have the whole 3 hours, and then you submit your answers. The other big assignment in this course is your curriculum investigation with triangulated analysis. So if you take a look at your syllabus, you'll see that we work on this assignment throughout the semester. The purpose of the assignment is to go ahead and investigate some of the current issues, trends, and influences in school curriculum, and the way that we do that is we have you actually choose the curriculum that you're currently working with, or if you're not teaching in a school right now, we have you pick a curriculum that you have access to, and then we go ahead and we look at that curriculum through 3 lenses. So we look at it through the lens of best practice. So does that curriculum incorporate, address, and apply what we've learned about best practices in a particular area of reading or language arts? We look for the influence of some of the historical frameworks and theoretical models that we've reviewed. So we're going to go ahead and learn this semester about a lot of those underlying theories, not just behind reading instruction, but of learning in general, and then you'll look for evidence of those theories in action in your curriculum. And then the last thing we'll do is we'll look at the California Common Core State Standards, or if you're a community college, the guidelines set out by the Basic Skills Initiative, and you'll see how those standards or guidelines are being met or addressed in that particular curriculum. So obviously this is just an overview, and as we get into the assignment, you'll have a lot more information about how you're going to complete this, but it's usually a very interesting assignment for lots of students, particularly if you get to look at a reading curriculum that you're currently implementing or have implemented in the past, or perhaps it's a new curriculum and you're going to look at it next year. It really gives you a different eye towards how the curriculum was created and then how it's used by those who implement it. Oh, I'll go back. This is a PowerPoint presentation. So you'll take a look at the syllabus and you'll see that you turn in these templates. So we break it into the 3 parts: the best practices, the theory piece, and the standards part. And you turn in templates where you do some of the work, and then you go ahead and you put all of those together in a PowerPoint presentation, which you're going to record much the way I'm recording this. And then we actually take a whole week where we do those presentations, and so some of your classmates will review yours, give you feedback, as well as I will review it and give you feedback. Okay, so after we do the curriculum and investigation, so the triangulated analysis piece, at the end of the semester, you're going to take the results of that analysis and you're going to make recommendations for changing the curriculum. So we call this the curriculum innovation proposal. So after you've gone ahead and you've looked at the curriculum through those 3 different lenses, you are going to come to the conclusion that it probably has several strengths and then some inherent weaknesses in how it was developed and implemented. So from that, you are going to make recommendations for areas that you can change the program and specific ways that you can change the program so that you can fill in some of those gaps and the weaknesses that you've identified. Again, you'll get a lot more information on this project as we move further into the semester, but just to give you an overview of what some of the expectations are. You'll have a specific audience or purpose for the changes that you're going to make to that curriculum, and the report or the paper that you create will synthesize all that information that you've learned in the course through your reading and through your investigation to really come up with some good suggestions for programmatic change. I'll provide you with some examples that students have come up with in the past. This is a really fun assignment for lots of students because they actually get to, create a program that meets the needs of the specific students they work with, or help create a program that they think fills in some of the gaps of a program that they've used in terms of weaknesses it has in best practices. Some students choose to make the actual materials for the program and make the lessons, so you have lots of flexibility in this assignment, but in the past, students have reported that they really enjoy creating it. It is a lot of work, but they enjoy creating it, and that it's often something that they can use. So it's a practical assignment as well. So this was just kind of a big picture overview of some of the big parts of the course. The grading for the class is 25% of it are going to be your class participation activities. 15% will be that 2/3 exam. You're going to have some peer review activities. So as you turn in all of those templates for the triangulated analysis, they're going to be turned in one by one. I will be reviewing them, but then you're also going to be reviewing each other's, and so that is going to be worth 15% of your grade. As a note on that, turning those templates in on time also counts towards your final grade for the triangulated analysis, and so that's listed on the scoring guide for that assignment. But you'll see for turning each template in on time, you get up to 10 points each towards your final grade. So 30 points of your final grade for the PowerPoint presentation relies on you turning the templates in on time. So then that overall assignment, the PowerPoint piece, is worth 25%. So if you add those up, you'll see 40% of your grade for this course is really based on this triangulated analysis. So it is the key assignment for the course, and it is a big assignment, and we do really get into it over the course of the entire semester. So you'll be working on it really from about week 3 or 4 on. And then the final assignment, the curriculum innovation proposal, is worth 20% of your final grade. So as I mentioned in the beginning, all of this information is repeated, some with more description or detail in the syllabus. So please make sure that you take a look at the syllabus and that you take a look at the course calendar at the end of the syllabus, and familiarize yourself with some of the assignments. And other than that, I look forward to a great semester.